children, gentlefolk. I'm Puff Dragon, but please do not be afraid.
I just want to say this is a very lonely elephant. If you look at him, he's just looking out. No one ever visits him.
Hello? Hello?
Welcome back, guys. Today we are, for the third time, going over another top 5 abandoned animatronics. This time, to me, is the creepiest. The meaning of ghost town is a deserted town with few or no remaining inhabitants. In this case, these were once built-up amusement parks, or buildings that are left completely abandoned. People usually wander into these supernatural-feeling places and come across these rotting beasts, even without meaning to. Through these explorations, stories begin. There are some that say they felt presence while exploring, or even muffled speaking in the distance. Half of the explorers say it could have been a homeless person or another explorer, and half say it's something more than that. Number 5. Valle Paraíso's Animatronic Graveyard. Guys, they say to save the best for last, but this one is too wild for me to wait for. One day, I was scrolling through my For You page on TikTok. As many of you know, I've been quite active on there recently, and I stumbled across what looked like a cursed video. It featured an outdoor park that seemed to be closed down. In the video, you can see what I call animatronic corpses stacked up, laying on each other. The one that stood still in the center of all them was a nude human animatronic. Behind him are stacked dinosaurs and other animal-like animatronics. I went to the creator's profile to see what other parts of the park he had caught on camera, and to my surprise, there were a lot more. After going through the creator's reposts, I had noticed that they were reposting mostly my content. Then I knew I had to reach out to them right away. After reaching out, they explained the full context of what the heck they came across. Valle Paraíso is a water park located in Ixmiquilpan, Hidalgo, Mexico, along the Mexico-Laredo Highway. The park is a pretty much regular water park that includes multiple pools, water slides, and areas designated specifically for children. Until last year, one of its most popular areas of the park was a dinosaur-themed splash area, in which there were almost 50 dinosaur animatronics set up next to each other, right by faucets and spouts that would splash children with small amounts of water. It was meant for smaller kids that weren't allowed to go on the big slides. This splash zone was open for a good amount of time, but just like the rest of the world, the park managers started believing that animatronic entertainment is too old for the younger generation. There weren't huge problems with the animatronics breaking down, so that wasn't a reason for their removals. Not knowing what to do with the removed and powered down animatronic corpses, the management told the employees to make a fenced-off area of the park to place them off. This means while all the kids and adults were having fun in the water on one side of the park, just a few feet away from them sits this nightmare-fueled ghost town of robotics. The TikTok creator who took all these videos, 5 Nights at Valle Paraíso's, said he stumbled upon it by accident when walking around the park and immediately pulled his phone out to record. He also ended up going at night, but didn't get any footage of it. He told me it was such a creepy environment that he heard some whispers while searching around it. As of uploading this video, the ghost town is indeed still there, rotting away, while all the families have fun with their kids, not knowing the nightmares that sit behind the fences. Would you visit this place? Or would you be too freaked out? Number 4. Puff the Dragon. The Camelot theme park in Lancashire, England, opened its doors in 1983. The park's theme was centered around knights and the story of King Arthur. Visitors came for a medieval escape, complete with castles, knights, and many medieval-themed attractions. Quickly, Camelot became a favorite for its nostalgic charm, making memorable experiences for both children and adults. For many years, it was one of the biggest names out of all the theme parks in England. Puff the Dragon was an animatronic dragon that stood near the entrance to greet people. He would even speak when his button was pressed.
Greetings, children, gentlefolk. I'm Puff Dragon, but please do not be afraid.
However, despite its initial success, Camelot faced a lot of challenges in the years before its closure. The park struggled with declining visitor numbers. The biggest problem was summers with a lot of rainfall for years in a row, which stopped people from wanting to spend time outside, obviously. Another issue for the park was other, more popular events nearby, like the London 2012 Olympics and the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. Not really mentioned in wikis, after looking back on touring videos of the park, it looked like a lot of the park's attractions were aging, some without proper care. This reminded me a bit of the Six Flags parks in the United States. If you visit, you can tell the areas of the park and animatronics are not maintained as they should be. I believe the reason for the low maintenance was the lower amount of ticket sales, so they couldn't put too much money back into taking care of the park properly. So unfortunately, in November 2012, the Camelot theme park shut its doors. After its closure, many of its attractions were dismantled and left abandoned. Most of the stuff stayed, as the owners had nowhere to put everything. Local teenagers soon got around the gates and found it as a place to hang out and destroy stuff, with some reports of them setting the fake castles on fire. Mostly everything was left, all suspiciously except for one of the most important pieces of the park, Puff the Dragon. The two Sleepy Night statues that sat with him stayed, but the 200-pound animatronic disappeared, with no update or trace of where it could be. The weirdest part is, no employees claimed to take him. This added a lot of mystique to Puff's character, with some people who lived in the area joking that he got up and used his wings to leave the park on his own when they closed. It's one of Reddit's biggest animatronic mysteries till this day. In 2024, some investors transformed the creepy abandoned park into a Halloween attraction, with all kinds of horrifying decorations taking over the place. Number 3. The Country Critters Jamboree. Town Village in Maggie Valley, North Carolina, was a small roadside attraction filled with nostalgia, tucked away in the scenic Smoky Mountains. It was once a vibrant Western-themed village, complete with saloons, general stores, and other old-fashioned buildings and entertainment. When entering the park, visitors were transported back to the Western cowboy days, including gunfight reenactments, food, games, and, not surprisingly, an animatronics show. There was Bob Wire, the coyote guitarist, Tommy Trailedust, the bull pianist, Lester, the second guitarist, which was a donkey, Wild Bill Hiccup, the chimpanzee who was a sheriff, Barely Man Enough, a second pianist, who was fittingly, you guessed it, a bear, a side character who never spoke, which was Henrietta, Tommy Trailedust's pet chicken. Surprisingly, all of the characters I just named to you were all side characters. You see, just like the new Rock-afire Explosion show stage, there were 3 separate stages, and the stages on the sides would rotate, changing out the characters to keep it fresh. The main characters would never change set in the middle, and they were named Butch, Yankee, and Yancey, aka the Boys, a litter of prairie dogs. They were the singers of the band, and often cracked jokes between songs to the other characters. The impressive thing about this show, just like the new Rock-afire, is that the system would know which characters are switched out, and the animatronics would pretty much talk to each other and even make fun of each other. Keep in mind, it was created almost 10 years before the new Rock-afire, as that was completed in 1994. Their band name was the Country Critters Jamboree, and their show was installed in 1988. Unlike the other ghost towns we went over, the failure for this one comes from the start of the park. For one, the attraction sat on the side of a busy road, which was Route 19. The building that was right off the road, though, was only for admissions and parking. After getting their tickets, visitors would either take a chairlift or reclined railway to the actual location of the park.
To go way up there, and it's going to be some type of thrill for us. See?
Let's walk.
Which was up a big mountain called Buck Mountain. This already made it a bit overwhelming for visitors to get back and forth to their cars. The park opened in 1961, which was perfect at the time, with Western movies and TV shows dominating pop culture at the time. Unfortunately, by the 1980s to 1990s, this theme got pretty old, and the Country Critters were pretty much a makeup for this. They needed to captivate the kids in a new way because old-fashioned gun shows weren't really doing it anymore. Even with the addition in 1992, the owners noticed their sales were plummeting. 10 years later, in 2002, the company filed for bankruptcy. After this, it got much worse. New owners came and went, with a couple of grand reopenings, but nothing stuck. 2009 was the last time the public would see the inside, as after this, the park would be left in a weird legal gray spot, with it not being clear who owned it anymore. With no money left, the owners left everything behind, with the animatronics on the isolated mountain being left to rot, the skin on them melting away for years. Right after the 2009 closure, Adam the Woo decided to take it upon himself to see what the park looked like empty, and many people came after him, with exploring videos still being recorded and posted every couple months on YouTube and TikTok. With all of the people going in and out of the park regularly, some have thrown animatronics around, further withering their appearances. Number 2. The Bedrock City Band. Bedrock City was a real-life version of the cartoon The Flintstones. Situated near the Black Hills, the park opened in 1966 and quickly became a popular stop for families, as pretty much everyone was a fan of the show at the time, adults and children. When entering the park, visitors were greeted by a large dinosaur-themed entrance and immediately immersed in a colorful, prehistoric world. The park featured several attractions inspired by the Flintstones TV show, including replicas of the beloved characters' homes, City Hall, the fire department, and a lot of other buildings, as it was meant to be a one-to-one with the show. With that, people would walk around in not-so-advanced costumes of the characters. Two of the main amusements were a movie theater that would play episodes all day long and something called the Playhouse Theater, which housed a retrofitted animatronic show stage called the Bedrock City Band. Before they became this, they were called the Wildfire Trio,
I don't need that much light.
and instead featured two bears and a bird, made by Sally Corp. Funny enough, they were familiar with making animatronics of cartoons, as they did one for the Care Bears in 1988. Kinda like the last park on the list, the animatronics were installed to get the kids' attention more and make the park more interactive with its aging attractions. The stronghold the Flintstones had on American families also aged, as the show had been off the air for years already, with the exception of reruns coming on for Saturday morning cartoons. As we all know, soon after that, Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network took over, airing cartoons at all times of the day. By the early 2000s, the cost of running the park went up, and ticket sales went down. In 2008, the owners sold the property, and the new owners didn't have the correct funds to keep up with maintenance. Around that same time, animatronics began visibly deteriorating without proper care. Still, the owners managed to fight through another 7 years, as they kept it open until 2015. After that, they ditched the property, leaving no fences around it, which left a whole ghost town of what once was. Even the statues were nightmare fuel. The property was sold to a big company that owned hotels in the area. Oddly enough, it took them a couple years to demolish the old stuff. Some people believe they kept it all up to let people investigate the area. Right after the closure, someone went into the Playhouse Theater and snagged some photos of the Bedrock City Band. Just as the country critters, people toyed with the animatronics, taking all of Fred's clothes off and ripping the eyes out of Wilma's head. The damage to Dino was like that before the park closed, believe it or not. Number 1. Hong Kong's Rainforest Cafe Animatronics. After its first debut in 1994 at the Mall of America, Rainforest Cafe rapidly expanded as it mastered the mix of entertainment, shopping, and retail. It was so successful that a lot of restaurants came around copying what they started. This started the big eatertainment trend, where dining experiences became immersive adventures. It even influenced certain parts of showbiz and Chuck E. Cheese's experiences. By the late 1990s, Rainforest Cafe was recognized as a leader in this business, with new locations opening in major US cities and international tourist hotspots like London, Mexico City, and Paris. The company decided to soon enter the Hong Kong market next, because the late 1990s were a time of rapid urbanization and globalization in Asia, with Hong Kong being a big city that also attracted a lot of tourists. The handover of Hong Kong from British to Chinese rule in 1997 heightened the city's profile as a cultural and economic bridge between East and West. When the Hong Kong location opened in 1998, a lot of locals didn't like the restaurant. Sure, the Rainforest theme was cool to them, and they resonated with it, but the menu prices were very high compared to the other local restaurants, and the American menu was left pretty much unchanged. So the Western-style food did not appeal as broadly to them as it did the other international locations. By 2003, after just 5 years of operation, these factors culminated in the closure of the Hong Kong Rainforest Cafe. After the closure of Hong Kong's Rainforest Cafe in 2003, an entrepreneur purchased its animatronics and other themed props, like the fake vines and plants that set the scene for the rainforest. With the purchase, he had a vision of creating a rainforest hostel on Hong Kong's eastern side. The entrepreneur brought the animatronics far from the original location, so far and isolated that you need to take a boat there. Despite the scenic location, the area was relatively remote and not easily accessible from the city's central regions. After buying the hostel property and submitting for the right permits, the owner faced a lot of regulatory challenges, as the government repeatedly denied the necessary permits to operate the hostel. After years of fighting, the owner's dream died out, as he left the project abandoned. Wanting nothing to do with the dream, he left the animatronics and decorations to deteriorate on the island alone. Some people on old forums did wonder what happened to the purchased animatronics, as they had heard of the story, but no one had seen what they looked like until 2018. User Ying Matthew, a Chinese native, posted on 28dayslater.co.uk, explaining that they heard from locals that the animatronics still sat on the property, deteriorating with all the downpours of rain and insects. With this, they decided to take a tour of the place deep in the jungle, then found it. The only other person to document these withered monsters was the urban explorer Josh, known for his YouTube channel, Exploring with Josh. Just as I was editing this video, he revisited the abandoned Rainforest Cafe animatronics in Hong Kong. In a video published on February 16, 2025, he documented the eerie remnants of the once vibrant restaurant, showcasing decaying animatronics and overgrown interiors. This exploration provided a fresh perspective on a site that had intrigued urban explorers and enthusiasts for years. Years prior, no one knew whether these forsaken, rotting creatures were found by another urban explorer and destroyed, or stolen after Ying Matthew came along. The mystery is now solved, though, and it's settled. One elephant stays on the second floor, protected from bad weather by the roof. The gorilla lost almost all of his limbs, with his bottom jaw hanging off of his skin. The giraffe's head fell off, and the decapitated elephant head that Ying Matthew captured pretty much disintegrated in the dirt.
Peace, man. God, no, we lost the giraffe. This is sad. This is a very sad day. Oh my God. This is the inside of these rainforest animatronics, though, in case you were wondering.